Breaking news. U.S. national debt has just gone above, ready? 37 trillion, that's with a T, dollars. Start counting, folks. 1, 2, 3, 10, 20, 50, 80, 100. In 100 days, where are we going to be? 38 trillion. Another 100 days, where are we going to be? 39 trillion. It's going up $1 trillion every 100 days. Now, in order to close that gap, what does the government do? They say they don't print anymore. They just add zeros to the ledger. Well, because we're taking in as receipts at the Treasury through income taxes, capital gains taxes, all kinds of income, right? Treasury gets 5 trillion. How much do we spend a year? Washington? How much they spend? 7 to 7.5 trillion. Well, where is that 2.5 trillion going to come from? What do? We print. Why do you guys think all these asset classes are at all-time highs? Because we print. Because there is so much money in circulation sloshing around. It has to go somewhere to chase return. And it goes to the stock market. And it goes to, Bitcoin. And it goes to Ethereum. And it goes to real estate. And it goes to gold. And it goes to silver. I have a good friend of mine who told me something 6 months ago. He said, don't slave harder, save in hard assets. Get it? That's it. That's the trick. Rich people have figured that out a long time ago. So 37 trillion, folks. No joke. 38 to be 100 days more. 38, 39, 40, bingo. And, by the way, this is not political. Doesn't matter who's in charge. Doesn't matter if you're Democrats, Republicans. They all spend money like drunken sailors. They love spending money they don't have. Well, 37 trillion now, that's borrowed money, by the way, because when we do create that money out of thin air, we have to issue IOUs. We have to sell debt to the globe, to the pension funds in the U.S., to hedge funds, whoever's buying those bonds, notes, treasury bills. In fact, Warren Buffett has about 340 billion in treasury bills, more than the treasury itself. Okay, well, when you do issue an IOU, meaning you get a loan, what do? We're not in the Middle East, in a Muslim country where interest expense is forgiven. God, I think it's against the religion. Well, what do? You have to pay interest. So on that $37 trillion debt we have, we're paying currently 1.2 trillion, trillion in interest to all those bondholders, note holders. You guys don't think 1.2 trillion could be used for some good in this country? That's just the debt, the interest on the debt, the servicing cost. 1.2 trillion to be 1.5 trillion next year. Okay, and these notes and bonds, what they do? They mature. Well, we have to replace them. Well, all these notes and bonds that we issued 10 years ago when we had zero interest rates, they were issued at 1%, 2%. Well, now we got to pay the piper. Now, 10-year note, 20-year note is almost 5%. So when we do issue these notes, the new ones, to replace the old ones, now we got to pay 5%. So servicing cost of this debt is going exponentially higher now. People don't talk about this enough. I've been talking about this for a whole year now on this channel. So here we are, 37 trillion. Breaking news. Total U.S. debt has officially crossed above 37 trillion for the first time in history. Of course. This puts total U.S. debt up 780 billion since the debt ceiling was raised following the signing of the what? The One Big Beautiful Bill Act into law on July 4th. This equates to an average rise of a whopping, you guys sitting down, $22 billion per day. Okay. Last week alone, the government sold, here it comes, $724 billion in treasuries through 10 auctions. These happen every single day, by the way. The U.S. debt crisis is worse than ever. No kidding. Well, here's the graph. Here's the graph of the debt. You guys see that red line? You guys see how many times we have increased the debt ceiling and it just keeps getting there quicker and quicker now? Great. And I thought this administration was going to come clean house and do some Doge and, get rid of dead weight. No. Kick the can down the road. So we are spending. Are you guys ready for this? This is what blew me away. We are spending nearly $3 billion on interest per day. Let me read that again. We are spending nearly $3 billion on interest payments per day. That's the cost of servicing that debt. Simply put, Kobesi letter says, we are on an unsustainable fiscal path and it's getting worse. Great. Well, that's where we are. It's going to be 38 in 100 days. I'm sure I'm going to be on this channel in 100 days. So what's today? 8/15? So that will be 11/15. Towards the end of November, right around Thanksgiving, we're going to hit 38 trillion. Now, what's happening now is that 1.2 trillion in interest servicing costs that we have of this 37 trillion national debt, it's going to accelerate because now we're going to issue bonds at a much higher rates than we did during ZIRP, zero interest rate policy period. FYI, $1.2 trillion is almost 50% more than our total national defense budget. It's almost equal to our Social Security spending. Folks, why don't we can we say, let's just not pay the debt, default on the debt? That will never happen, right? What can we do? How about we create a balanced budget amendment? How about like I run my house because I don't have a printer. I can't just create money out of thin air and spend all the money I don't have. I run the house with a budget. We have budget. Everybody should have a budget, with the exception of Washington. They don't have a budget. Well, they have a budget, but it's been running on debt and deficit and borrow and spend forever now. So there you go. Spread the word, folks. This is reality. 37 trillion to be 38 trillion in another 100 days. I'm sure I'll be doing a segment in the next 100 days about this topic when we reach $38 trillion. There you go.